Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to talk about a new feature in AI that's having a massive impact. But here's the crazy part. At its core, it's really just a folder.
I mean, just think about that for a second. Imagine taking a full, complex, 8-hour workday and crushing it down into just 60 minutes. This isn't some made-up marketing line. It's a direct quote from a huge company that's already using this. It's a pretty wild claim, so let's dig into how on earth that's even possible.
So, what's the secret? Is it some incredibly dense, complicated new algorithm? No. The answer lies in a new bit of tech from Anthropic that is, and I'm not kidding, almost laughably simple.
Okay, so to really get what's going on here, we first have to talk about a huge, fundamental problem with most AI tools out there. You see, when it comes to remembering your specific way of doing things, they have a terrible memory.
It's like you've hired this super smart new employee who's a genius, but every single morning, they walk in with total amnesia. They don't remember your company's brand guidelines, your specific coding practices, or your unique internal processes. You have to explain it all, over and over again, every single time. It's inefficient, and honestly, it's just exhausting.
And this right here really lays out the massive shift we're talking about. On the left, you've got that old, frustrating cycle. It's a constant headache of re-explaining and hoping for the best. But on the right, with skills, it's like onboarding that employee just once. You teach it the rules, and it actually remembers them forever.
So, this is where Anthropic steps in with a really clever solution to this whole memory problem. They call them Claude skills.
And when we say simple, we really mean it. A skill isn't some complex piece of software you have to install. It is quite literally just a folder on a computer. Inside that folder, you might have a simple text file with some instructions, and maybe a few other resource files like a template or a code snippet, and that's it.
And here's the kicker. That simplicity, that's the whole point. That's the feature, not a bug. Because they're just simple files and folders, they are incredibly easy for anyone to create, to tweak, and to share across an entire team. This is how you take that unwritten tribal knowledge and turn it into a real, permanent tool that anyone can use.
So you're probably sitting there thinking, okay, how can a simple folder be so effective? Well, let's pop the hood. There are really two key ideas that make all this magic happen. The first piece of genius is a technique called progressive disclosure. Basically, Claude doesn't try to cram every single instruction from every skill into its brain at once. That would be a huge waste. Instead, it just quickly scans the headlines, the names, and short descriptions. It's only when you ask it to do a specific task that it goes, I need that skill, and pulls the full details into its active memory. It's incredibly efficient.
Now that's half the magic. The other half, and this is absolutely the game changer, is that skills aren't just instructions. They can hold and run actual code. This is what lets the AI go from just talking about a task to actually doing the task by running a script to get it done. For example, check this out. A skill for making GIFs for Slack doesn't just have a text file saying how to do it, it has the actual Python code that Claude can execute. It can call on a tool to build the GIF, save the file, and then, get this, it can run another function to automatically check if the GIF is small enough to actually post on Slack. It's true automation.
All right, this all sounds really cool in theory, right? But what does it actually look like when real businesses put it to work? Let's take a look.
Hey, remember that quote from the very beginning of our explainer? Well, here are the numbers behind it. At the financial company Rakuten, they had this complex financial modeling process that took a full day. Now, with a skill that contains all their specific formulas and knowledge, it takes just 1 hour. That is an 87.5% reduction in time. Just wow.
And we're seeing this pop up across all kinds of industries, really falling into 5 main buckets. You've got companies using them for brand compliance, making sure every presentation looks right, for data analysis, so financial models always use the right validated formulas, for development, where one startup cut their code review time by 60%, for simple workflow automation like updating your CRM, and finally, for capturing specialized expertise, making expert knowledge available to everyone on the team on demand.
You know, the team at Notion really hit the nail on the head with this. Impressive, flashy AI demos are one thing. We've all seen them. But getting consistent, reliable, predictable results that you can actually trust every single time, that's what makes the technology truly useful in a business. And that is the exact problem that skills are built to solve.
Of course, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. With this kind of power, you gotta be smart about it. So let's talk about where this is all going and, well, the catch.
The catch is that the very thing that makes skills a superpower, the fact that they can execute real code, is also their biggest risk.
I mean, if you're not careful, a skill could theoretically access APIs, write to your databases, or even deploy infrastructure.
But here's the key takeaway. These risks are completely manageable. You just have to treat skills like any other piece of software you'd let into your company. That means you review them, you limit their permissions so they can only access what they absolutely need to, you require a human to sign off on big actions, and you monitor what they're doing. It's just basic, common sense security.
And the roadmap for this technology is pretty exciting. Right now, today, people are building and sharing skills inside their teams. Pretty soon, we might see a skills marketplace where you can buy a pre-built skill from an expert. And way out in the future, the vision is for the AI to learn a new, better way to do something, and then automatically package that knowledge into a new skill all by itself, no human required.
So when you boil it all down, this is what it's about. Skills allow you to capture that priceless institutional knowledge. You know, the unique way your company does things, that usually just walks out the door when an employee leaves, and turn it into a permanent, automated, and scalable asset. That's a huge competitive advantage.
Which really just leaves us with one final thought. Think about your own day-to-day work. What is that one tedious, multi-step process that everybody has to learn over and over again? Because that process, that's probably just waiting to be turned into a skill.